Flaks combined ballistic nylon and hard steel plates. They were too heavy to be issued to mobile infantry troops. Instead, they got issued to flyboys, protecting the crew from flying debris and shrapnel thrown by anti-aircraft guns, known as flak.
In 1943, the United States Army Air Forces adopted a flak jacket, meant to protect the torso from fragments in all directions, and it also would have an additional groin plate here underneath, and it's very heavy.
In Korea and Vietnam, the jackets were reinvented for general combat use. Manufacturers ditched the old heavy steel plates and opted for a lighter design incorporating multiple layers of dense nylon. Body armor slowly became as much a part of the soldier's kit as his rifle. And like his rifle, it was a love-hate relationship.
It was heavy, it was hot, and the temperature could go to 120 in the sun. But when the temperature got down to about 40 degrees, and it would up in the mountains, you could wrap up in the thing and keep warm.
Not that soldiers in Vietnam needed heat. They lived under fire and touched down in hot LZs. Tested to the limit, they soon found out how far they could trust their armor.
A flak vest is good for fragmentation, like out of a hand grenade. But it is not good for being shot. It's not a bulletproof vest.
Flak vests weren't enough. Soldiers were dying. A revolution was needed, and in the 1960s, it happened. Lightweight, ultra-tough, bullet-stopping Kevlar. The world has always been gripped by concerns about renewable oil supplies. But panic at the pump isn't a new phenomenon. In the 1960s, chemical giant DuPont was trying to invent an ultralight tire to make cars more fuel efficient. Bright young chemist Stephanie Kolek was working on the project.
We started out with the intention of making a very strong and a very stiff fiber, but we also wanted something light to save on gasoline.
In her laboratory, Stephanie and her team experimented with nylon-based chemicals. Mixing up her formula, she spun a fiber that turned out much stronger than expected. Was it a blip or a major discovery? She had to be sure before she told her bosses.
I didn't want to be embarrassed, to be frank. And so I checked it out several times. And when they always came back the same numbers and so forth, I knew then and there that this was the fiber of the future.
Stephanie's discovery would become the biggest brand name in personal armor, Kevlar. A fiber with a strength-to-weight ratio 5 times greater than steel.
Nylon has a very flexible chain, and it's sort of like cooked spaghetti. Now here, I have uncooked spaghetti. This is what Kevlar might look like, or like logs that float down a river. In order for you to get more logs into that stream, they have to line up parallel to each other. And this is the identifying mark of rod-like polymers like Kevlar. Very strong and very stiff.
The combined strength and flexibility of the new fiber gave it several applications. But the most obvious was body armor. Could this be the ultimate bullet stopper?
In delivering higher ballistic performance in a vest, I need the right fiber, I need the right structure, I need the right number of layers. And Kevlar brand fiber delivers all of those attributes.
Kevlar's potential led other inventors to use it in body armor. Men like Richard Davis. Richard is one of the most successful manufacturers of body armor in the 20th century.
Okay, camera people.
3, 2, 1.
Time and time again, he's put bullets where his mouth is to prove the value of his vests.
I think it's 201 times have been shot total. But that's like, you know, asking a 63-year-old professional boxer how many fights he's had.
Richard's fascination with body armor goes back nearly 4 decades. On July 15, 1969, the world was watching Apollo 11 as it blasted off to land the first men on the moon. Meanwhile, in downtown Detroit, Richard Davis was a humble pizza delivery boy. Others followed every step of the Apollo mission, but Richard hit the pavement with another stack of boxes. It was a night that would end in tragedy.
The night after Apollo 11 blasted off of the moon, the next night I had to do some blasting on my own. I came up to a house and there's nobody home. And I heard somebody around the side of the house. And I had a piece of sort of here like this, and I had the .22 revolver in my waistband here. So I said, did you guys order pizza? And they said, yeah, bring it around back. I'm still hoping this time that these guys are going to hand me 10 bucks and I can have the pizza and that'll be the end of it. There's 3 guys standing in sort of V formation. I was probably about 5 or 6 feet away from them. And all I did is look at this guy with his nickel-plated automatic looking right square in my face. Didn't look at him, didn't look at his friends, looking right at his hands. Keeps the gun leveled right at me. Just look at his hand. And then his hand just started tightening around the gun. And I knew that was it.
(1969), downtown Detroit. Richard Davis, a pizza delivery boy, is staring down the barrel of a gun. It's a fight he's ready for.
I had to shoot him in the head. Hit him in the chin somewhere and came inside his jaw, came out his ear. The second one was about an inch off his heart. The third shot was a little bit too fast. And the fourth shot hit the second guy. He just turned around like this immediately. Now he still has his hands back here, so I didn't know if he was going to come up empty-handed or if he's going to come around, he's got a gun. Hit him right dead center in the spine, right there. Bullet lodged between the 2 vertebrae right behind his heart. He went face down in the concrete.
In a brave act of self-defense, Richard wiped out one of Detroit's most feared gangs. Shocked by the ordeal, the pizza boy began cooking up a plan.
My goal then was just to deliver pizza and make an honest living in Detroit after dark. Silly me. What I realized then was that policemen are out there getting killed all the time.
Richard realized there was a real need for body armor and began developing concealable vests that could be worn 24 hours a day.
My idea was designed that you're going to give up the really high-powered rounds, you're going to give up side coverage, and all the way down to the groin, the knees, and everything. You have to give that up. We're just going to cover the critical kill zone. We're going to stop most of the bullets most of the time for most of the people.
First, he used ballistic nylon in his vests, but then Stephanie Kwolek discovered Kevlar.
If body armor was aviation, Stephanie's the person who invented the jet engine. And I didn't invent body armor either. The nicest thing somebody once said about me, comparing me to if body armor was to automobiles, I'm not the German guy named Otto who invented the first motor car. I'm Henry Ford. I made the stuff practical and mass-produced that guys could actually buy it and, work the thing, and it would actually work, and work in real life.
Body armor gives officers the second chance that criminals won't. Today's vests can catch bullets traveling more than twice the speed of sound, and they make it look simple. But how do they do it? Like all great designs, modern vests are deceptively complex. Unless, of course, you've grown up with a father who has shot himself over 200 times in the name of self-protection. Matt Davis now runs the family business, although his father is never far from the scene.
Man, I can't do it. It ain't worth it, Matt. It ain't worth it.